It was deja vu for Plattsburgh on Sunday. Like the ladies, Plattsburgh State men's baseball team won both games of a doubleheader on the final day of the SUNYAC baseball action. Plattsburgh won the first game 6-5 and the second game 10-9. The Cardinals at the time were 21-13 overall and 7-5 in the SUNYAC, clinched their 7th consecutive postseason trip to the conference tournament and the 4th 20-win season in the program's history in the first game. After Game 1's win, there was a ceremony held at home plate honoring the team's 9 seniors. Okay, so do you want to hear a little bit about the game? This is how all the action unfolded. In the first game, Matt Kelly led the way with 2 hits and an RBI for the Cardinals. However, the Cardinals out-hit the Lakers 3 times during the opener. 1-0 in the first inning, 3-1 in the third inning, and 5-4 in the fifth. In the 7th, Joe Curcio had an RBI single to tie it up at 5-all. Next would come Tori Boyer with the game-winning RBI on a sacrifice fly to center field in the 8th. Relief pitcher Dan Tracy picked up the win for Plattsburgh, pitching 4 scoreless innings, only allowing 3 hits. Tracy also struck out 3 Lakers to improve to 5-0 on the season. Now let's talk a little bit about the second game. Making way for the Cardinals was Eric Schwinn, Kyle Kowalski, Matt Burns, Nate Eaton, and Tori Boyer. Each of these players had 2 hits, contributing to Plattsburgh's 12-hit attack. The Cardinal newcomer Shane Parrott had his first career hit. In the 4th inning, Plattsburgh was trailing by 2, but reclaimed the lead for good with 3 runs on a single from Boyer, a double from Chris Cauchin, and sacrifice fly from Kyle Kowalski. Another jam-packed game. 2 hits coming from Kelly, Curcio had an RBI, and Cauchin had a double.
And they swept the doubleheader, which they don't often do. Very impressive.
Better record than Oswego, so nice day for them.
And in the home finale for Plattsburgh baseball, the Cards split a twin bill with Linden State. The Cardinals dropped the first game before handling business in Game 2, which is common for the Cards in these splits, except for the one you just talked about. In Game 1, Linden's Stetson Hicks drove in 3, and Ben Clark broke a 1-1 tie with a 2-run homer in the 3rd. They gave the Hornets from Vermont a lead they would not relinquish, as Shane O'Donnell Leach went 9 innings, giving up a single earned run and a 5-2 win for Linden. Game 2 was a different story, with Tori Boyer breaking a 4th inning 3-3 tie with a bases-clearing triple that gave the Cards an edge they would not surrender. Boyer finished 3 for 3 with 3 runs scored, 3 RBIs. Pat Shaughnessy and Matt Burns each chipped in a couple of ribbies in a winning effort, 8-3. Dustin Courier earned his first collegiate win with 5 Ks in 5 innings for the Cards, so congratulations to him. And you see a couple of 2-hit performances for Schwinn and Cauchin, and multi-RBI games for a couple Plattsburgh State Cardinals, which always helps in the high-scoring games like that second one.
Yeah. And still talking about the baseball, who said it couldn't be done? The Plattsburgh State baseball team split a non-conference doubleheader last night with NCAA D2 St. Michael's College. The Cardinals won the first game 9-4 and lost the second game 6-4. Overall, Plattsburgh is now at 23-15 for the season. During the first game, Plattsburgh out-hit St. Mike's 10-7. Contributing to Plattsburgh's offensive work, was Kyle Kowalski, Matt Burns, Pat Shaughnessy, and Chris Cauchin. Each were accounted for having 2 hits. Burns had 3 RBIs and Shaughnessy had 2. The Cardinals scored 5 times in the first inning and never looked back after that. This win puts freshman pitcher Matt O'Leary at 7-1, tying the single-season record for wins in Plattsburgh's history. O'Leary gave up 1 run and 1 hit in 2 innings. Billy Davis relieved O'Leary at the mound and pitched the final 3 innings for his 8 saves. In Game 2, the Cardinals came back in the top of the 5th from a 4-run deficit to tie it up 4-all. However, in the bottom of the 5th, St. Michael's College answered back with 2 runs, taking over the lead. And here, we defeated them the first game, couldn't pull it off the second, but you have Kyle Kowalski, Shaughnessy, Burns, and Cauchin each accounted for 2 hits, and we do have a better record than them. And
like we talked about earlier, they're splitting their in-conference games, so the 23-15 record, we're really beating up on non-conference opponents. So good for them getting up for those games. And on the women's side, the softball team was outmatched by number 9 ranked Cortland in a doubleheader sweep. The Cardinals scored first in Game 1 after an Ashley Napier double plated Danielle Girgi. It did not take long, however, for the Red Dragons to bust out with 6 runs in the 3rd, then 2 more in the 5th to secure an 8-1 handling of Plattsburgh State. Katie Finch picked up her 17th win of the year for Cortland, striking out 11 Cardinals while giving up only a pair of hits as she dominated the Cardinal bats. Game 2 wasn't much prettier for the Cards as they were blanked 5-0. Heather Laughlin suffered the loss for Plattsburgh after tossing 4 innings from the circle. So the women didn't do as well as the men, but Can't win them all.
But they come back with my story next. The Plattsburgh State women's softball team sent the Oswego Lakers home crying this past weekend. The Lakers had a lot to cry about, too. The Cardinals defeated Oswego 6-0 in both games of the doubleheader on Saturday, April 25th. This puts Plattsburgh at 19-21 for the regular season and 12-8 in the SUNYACs. Bree Allen once again shined in the circle. During the first game, she earned herself her 4th shutout of the season by striking out 6 and only allowing 2 hits while going for the victory. Offensively, Plattsburgh had a strong lineup that plated 1 run in the bottom of the first and 5 in the third. Because it was the senior game, there was a ceremony for the lone senior in between the games. The Cardinals honored senior catcher Lauren Clark. Originally coming to Plattsburgh from Herkimer County Community College, Clark has helped the Cardinals get to their 2nd straight SUNYAC regular season title in 2008. Catching for the entire season, Clark is tied for 3rd for the school's single season record list with 11 runners caught stealing. Okay, back to the action. Game 2 started off a bit slower for the Cardinals. They only had 3 runs until the bottom of the 5th. However, during the 5th, the ladies racked up 3 runs. Pitching for the game 2 was Heather Loughran, who earned her 2nd shutout of the season. She struck out 8 and allowed 4 hits before Tanya Fedishin took over in the 6th and closed out the game. Nice job, ladies.
Luke Wideline, who was the hero for a day last week as his Cards and his teammates clinched their first postseason berth in the program's history. The Cards doubled up Brockport 16-8 with Wideline notching 7 points that makes him tops in school history. He surpassed Frank Sangiovanni's school record of 173 points, but there was more than those 2 milestones reached on this day, though. Skipper P.J. Kavanaugh became the most winningest lacrosse coach in Plattsburgh State history, albeit with 26 victories. But as far as the win over Brockport went, the Cards pounced on the Eagles with 7 unanswered goals in the first 15 minutes. Goaltender Matt Belia saved 19 shots to extend his single-season record to 243 for the season. Matt Mays also had a big game for the Cards with 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 total points. And you see, when you double up an opponent, you score double-digit points, you're going to have multi-goal games.
Yeah.
So that's Wideline and Norkey and Mays always come through. They're the names that are up on that board every week.
And Dave, later in the show, we're going to have a few more stories on Wideline, so he is breaking some records.
Right.
And still talking about lacrosse, the Plattsburgh State Cardinals took on the Geneseo Blue Knights Wednesday night in the SUNYAC semifinals. The Cards, ranked 4th, lost to the top seed Knights 21-11. This was Plattsburgh's first postseason appearance ever. The Cards came out attacking. Patrick Wright had 2 goals. Tom Cerny, Adrian Marino, and Luke Wideline all had a goal and an assist apiece. Tom Cerny made school history by becoming the 8th player in Plattsburgh history to reach 100 points. Although it wasn't enough for the Cardinals to defeat the Blue Knights, the Cardinals ended their season 9-8 at 9-8. Here, unfortunately, we couldn't do it. Again, this was their first postseason ever. Wright had 2 goals. Wideline and Cerny and Marino each accounted for a goal.
And you see the difference in the talent level with the shots on goal. They almost doubled up with 62-34. So but a big step for the program, for the lacrosse program here at Plattsburgh State. So congratulations to them. Successful season. We're going to move on to the track and field, and the Cardinals squad had a great showing at the Capital District Classic hosted by RPI in Troy, New York. Matt Burton was a star for Plattsburgh with his first place showing in the 5,000-meter run, which he completed in 16 minutes and 33 seconds. But the Cards had a few second-place finishes as well. Seth Yerney ran the 800-meter in 1 minute and 57 seconds. Andrew Krug leaped 6 feet 2 3/4 inches in the high jump, and Skylar Field reached 14 feet and 5 inches in the pole vault. Krug and Field's numbers were good enough for ECAC qualifying marks. And also Jeff Stitt placed 3rd in the triple jump with a distance of 42 feet and 2 inches.
Not bad.
Great qualifying numbers. Good for them.
And now talking about women's track and field, a well-known name that you hear often when we talk about Plattsburgh State women's track and field is Jacqueline Boyer. Boyer, who is a sophomore, qualified for the ECAC championships with a throw of 116 feet and 1 inch in the javelin at the Capital District Classic hosted by RPI. This awarded her a 3rd place finish in that event. Shannon Young also placed 3rd in the shot put with a record toss of 38 feet and 6 3/4 of an inch. Finishing the highest for Plattsburgh was Colleen Cody in the 5,000-meter run with a 2nd place finish. Jen Modsell trailed in 4th, and Crystal Yerney finished in 5th. The 4x100-meter relay team placed 4th, and Felicia Sangs qualified for the SUNYAC championships for the high jump. Not bad.
Absolutely.